Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, once again here to Virtual Racing Network. Tonight is the late night broadcast here with the Northwest Truck Series. Hopefully we can hold on to our voice for the remainder of this race. We are here at my favorite and home track, Texas Motor Speedway, for some great truck racing here tonight. We got 18 drivers that have made their way. Now make it 19 as Dan Stuzzi connects. Before we get into all the sponsors and racing details, though, do want to point out that we have a new driver here tonight. That is the 36 of Bruce Weaver. So welcome, Bruce Weaver, to the race. I'm sure you'll be watching this later on, but it's a brand new driver here tonight in that number 36 machine. We'll see how this one plays out tonight. But before we do that, we want to get into all the sponsors here for tonight. Of course, ourselves here at Virtual Racing Network sponsoring this league this season. So we have been here for quite some time, and we have signed a contract all the way to 2020. So we'll be here for a long time to come here with the Northwest Racing Series. And of course, your presenting sponsor here for tonight's race, that is Walls Beard Co. Beard Balm. You can check them out at wallsbeardco.com. This is, of course, the wallsbeardco.com. Or wallsbeardco.com, but Walls Beard Co. Survive, Thrive, and Drive 187 here at Texas Motor Speedway. Sorry, we are slightly losing our voice here tonight. We're going to try to hang in there as long as we can. Walls Beard Co. also doubling as a sponsor here for VRN ourselves. So again, make sure you check them out at wallsbeardco.com, all natural and organic products. SimSpeedShop.com, your one-stop shop for button boxes and e-brakes. Make sure you check them out. Again, SimSpeedShop.com. Northwest Racing Series, the official one-to-go sponsor here for tonight's race. And, of course, we are broadcasting their league here on Wednesday night. Make sure you check in on Monday night as we also broadcast our Xfinity Series. Same time, same place. Ohio IndyCar League. Make sure if you're looking to get into some IndyCar racing, you check these guys out. Ohio IndyCar League. You can look them up on Facebook, facebook.com/Ohio IndyCar League. They are no longer just taking Ohio Club members. And of course, iPog, iRacing Broadcast Overlay Graphics, your sim race broadcast graphic source. We personally use them and we recommend them here if you're looking to get into broadcasting or just needing some overlays made. Make sure you check them out at ipog.co. They are the best in the business, so make sure you check them out if you're, again, looking to get into broadcasting. Real quick, before we get into the racing details, and we're going to talk to a driver here in just a minute, we also want to throw this out there that we are looking to expand here. So we are looking for producers to come on board here that can stream. You must, of course, show proof of streaming and that your quality will, of course, meet our standards here at VRN. And we are also looking for second chair commentators to fill in for a couple of nights. So if you are one of those, and you would like to do it, make sure you message us and we will definitely get in contact with you. That being said here, we're going to quickly go through your pre-race analyst here. Is the wind speed 2 miles per hour, partly cloudy from the north, 105-degree track tips. This track is very toasty here tonight. Your laps, 125 laps, 187 miles. Pit road, 50 miles per hour. We'll know a tire and fuel window coming up here shortly. Again, we'll get that here in just a minute. We are struggling trying to keep that voice here as we've had two broadcasts back-to-back here tonight. What we do want to do, though, is talk to a driver. We already have Josh Coley in the 33 is planned to come up. He was the fastest at the moment, but Jeff Stabnow has since taken that time by .009. But we're still going to talk to Josh Coley here. So let's go ahead and pull him up. We might try to see if we can get Tom Green in here as well. But we're going to go ahead and pull up your point standings here for the moment. Those are the official point standings coming into tonight's race. So we're going to leave those up there while we get Josh Coley in here and talk to him for just a minute. You know what? We're going to change the plan here. We've talked to him this season here in the pre-race. Let's pull Tom Green up here very quickly here and get a quick word in with him just for a moment. Tom Green, you got a copy?
Hey, what's going on?
Well, we plan to bring Josh Coley up here, but we've already talked to him once this season here in the pre-race show. So you're third fastest right now here in the session, so we figured why not? We'll bring you up here and talk to you. So first off, congrats on being third fastest here in the lobby, faster than Mark Walls right now. So you're right up there in the mix of things. So question is, how is that truck handling tonight? It is an open set. And are you thinking you're going to be making tweaks on it throughout the night, or is it handling pretty good?
It seems like it's, for my setup anyway, I get a little tighter as we go, so I might have to see if I can loosen it up as we go a little bit, but we'll have to see as the race goes on. But, I was kind of amazed I got that 7 on there, but truck's running good. I like it, so we'll see what happens.
Well, definitely, we're going to be looking for you up there. Obviously, this is a special, excuse me, I'm losing my voice, but a special race here. This is the Walls Beard Co. Survive, Thrive, and Drive 187 for Breast Cancer Awareness Month. So, do you have anyone out there that you're racing for here tonight, or are you just participating and hoping to put in a good finish?
We're just trying to put in a good finish and racing for everybody out there tonight. So, yeah, I just hope we all have a good race tonight. Yep, exactly.
Well, I definitely hope we do. And before we let you go here, we got about 3.5 minutes. Any sponsors on the car, or anyone you want to give a shout out to?
Just Walt's Beer Code for a great, awesome season and putting all this together. And then, of course, you and VRN is totally awesome, keeping us on air and stuff. So, yeah, like I say, I hope we have a good, clean race, and hope that everything turns out great.
All right, we hope it does too. Again, that was the 77 of Tom Green. As we talked to him for a minute, we're going to put him back down to his race channel, part of Atlas Finishers racing team. We have about 3 minutes left to go here. So real quickly here, if we can, we're going to see if we have just a moment to pull one more driver in to talk to him really quick. If we can't, we're going to have to do what we can. We're going to see if we can pull him in here really quick. We're going to find out if he does have a free moment. So definitely, if we get that chance, we'll talk to him. We just sent out the notification. We'll see. And we'll pull him down here real quick. Mark Walls, you got a copy?
10-4.
Well, I thought that was, you were asking why, but that was a yes. I threw you off for a minute. But we don't have but about probably a minute at the most. But we want to get you in here because you are the sponsor for this race. This is, of course, the Walls Beard Co. Survive, Thrive, and Drive 187. I know VRN sponsored the first race. We had a special connection to Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Yourself, do you have any personal ties is why this thing, or is it just here something that you're doing just for the month?
No, I mean, we do that every month of October, every season we run. So it's an honor. Drive for Pink. I've had a family member go through that. So it's definitely a struggle, and to drive to move forward is all that. So that's what we're here for tonight.
Definitely for a great cause. Again, hopefully everyone will be driving at the end of this. But we got to get to the national anthem. So quickly, any sponsors and shout-outs, and we'll let you go.
Yeah, we just got to thank Walls Beard Co. and Virtual Racing Network putting the event for us. And, man, I'm looking forward to the race.
All right, so we'll let you go. We're going to get you back to your race channel, and good luck in qualifying, and hopefully we'll talk to you later tonight.
Thanks, bud.
All right, that is going to do it here. Of course, for the interviews, we have 56 seconds left, so we're going to jump over to the national anthem. We'll be right back.
We take you down onto the track for our opening ceremonies.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise. Please remove your hats.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous flight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
All right, we are back, ladies and gentlemen, and it looks like everyone is coming out on to the track here. We're going to put your driver bar up. The first one is Tom Green. We talked to him earlier in that 77 machine, so we'll see what kind of times he will put up here in qualifying in that number 77 Northwest Chevrolet. Again, times will start to roll in here shortly, and then we will put up your official top 20 in qualifying, as we have about 19 or so here tonight. We'll see. Not everyone may qualify. We'll usually have a few that don't, so we'll be looking to see which ones qualify, which ones don't. Here in this, we have 10 minutes, about 8.5 left, but technically 10 minutes on the clock to begin with. As we currently have Tom Green, Ryan Maines, Andy Vogt, Brian Barnes, Dan Stuzzi, and Chris White out on the track at the moment. We may try to pull a driver up here during qualifying after the run, not during. But after the run, we may try to pull our top driver in here, depending on who that is, if we haven't already talked to him, to see just where they stand here in qualifying. So we'll definitely be paying attention for that as times are coming in. Tom Green, 30.094. Andy Vogt in the number 10 machine, putting in a 30.181 as he's going to, looks like hit a bump there, spin it loose. And he will somewhat save it, not get into the wall. Good job there. Ryan Maines puts in a 30.373 in that number 13 machine. So I guess it says Honeybucks on there. So I believe that is what it says. Nice looking paint job for him. Brian Barnes still out on the track, followed by Dan Stuzzi and Chris White. Those guys have not put in laps just yet. And actually Dan Stuzzi is not on the track just yet. He is still looking to get out there. Again, we are hopeful our voice will hang in their ear for tonight, as it has been quite used and abused here tonight from another broadcast before this one, so we are hoping that it just hangs in there with us tonight. It is definitely fighting back what it's worth, but Brian Barnes going to take it to the top with a 29.943 as he's going to spin it out coming to the next lap, and that will do it for him. As we're going to switch over to, let's switch over to Steve Silstad, who is actually coming out on the track. So we're going to switch to Chris White, who is running pink here for breast cancer awareness. This is, again, the Walls Beard Co. Survive, Thrive, and Drive 187. We're going to go ahead and pull up your top 20 times here in qualifying. And we'll see just exactly where everyone is going to be. Chris White, you see back in 20th, hasn't put in a time. He will do so right there, and there's going to be a 29.715 as that will put him at the top of the charts right now here in that number 35 machine. So very good run for him indeed. We'll see if he can possibly get this pole. However, there are several drivers out there that won it. Steve Silstad in the 45 machine, putting in together a great run here tonight in qualifying so far, and the perfect lap there should be a good time. 28.9806, second fastest here in qualifying. We knew it was going to be a good one based on the line he was running. It looked good, it was smooth, and it was indeed a fast lap. We have Corey Walters out on the track, as well as Mark Walls, Josh Coley coming out onto the track as well. We'll see the 9 of Corey Walters putting in the first time 30.020. That will put him in 4th place on his first lap. Let's check in with Mark Walls and that number 29 Walls Beard Co. Pink Machine here tonight, coming out of turn 4. And what kind of time will he put in? It is going to be a 4 minute. That is his warm-up lap. I thought that was his first actual lap. It is not. So let's check in with Josh Coley, who is coming to the trial. This should be his first lap. We'll see. That is also his warm-up lap indeed, so it was his very first lap. So obviously the next one to go back to is Mark Walls, is his first time lap. Will be coming in. This time he's coming out of turn 4 to the tri-oval. And his lap will be at the line right there, 29.593. That will put him well in the lead by 0.114. Mark Walls, your new fastest time here. As we'll switch over to Josh Coley, he puts in a time 29.645, right behind Mark Walls with a very fast time. Again, 29.645. We're going to switch over here to Gary Nichols, who should put in his first lap there for a warm-up lap, so we'll keep an eye on him. Josh Cushman on the backstretch right now. He's on his warm-up lap as well. Brian Bennett just put in his warm-up lap. John Ottenbacher also just started his warm-up lap, so several drivers out on the track right now that should be putting in laps here very soon. One of those is Gary Nichols coming out of turn 4. He will come into the tri-oval. What will his time be? It's going to be a 30.069 will be his time. 30.70 as it rounds up to 7th place time. Let's go over to Cushman as he's coming out of turn 3 going into turn 4. And he also has running some pink on there with the VRN logo on the trunk, so glad to see that. Brian Bennett, 29.849. He'll go to 5th place, and it's going to be a 29.664 for the 3 of Josh Cushman. He will take it to the top of the charts here in qualifying. Jeff Stabnow out on the track right now. John Ottenbacher coming out onto the track, as there it is, Jeff Stabnow to the top of the charts with a 29.515.079 ahead of his teammate Mark Walls. And he has one more lap to go out and put a fast time in. Can he beat his own time? We'll see if he can. Sean Brightsman out on the track as well, and that number 46 machine. So we're going to see if he can do it here tonight. Yeah. Very interesting to see if he can. And Sean Brightsman puts in a 29.718. That will put him in 8th place. John Ottenbacher coming around to put in. He's on the back stretch, so he has half a lap to go. Before he gets there, we have about 2.5 minutes left. So since we have a minute, actually he is not here. We'll see if we can get a hold of him. We're going to talk to Jeff Stabnow here. We'll see if we can get him in while we're watching his teammate John Ottenbacher. So give us just a minute. We'll see if he can get it. It is John runs in a very fast time, 29.864. We'll see if we can get him in very quick. Jeff Stabnow, you got a copy? Oh, looks like we are unable to get a word in with Jeff Stabnow at the moment. I got a minute 17 left, so we're going to get him back to his team radio. Unable to get a word in with him. Brandon Peters yet to come out onto the track, but Jeff Stabnow is going to be your fastest time here in qualifying. We talked to him earlier as he was just getting a setup built and working on that car before he came here. Now, of course, getting pole. So very interesting to see how this truck is going to handle for him and if he thinks he has it dialed in. But a minute 27 left to go here in qualifying. So we are going to step away. We will be right back if anybody else comes out on the track. But right now, Ray Fournier, Scott Hutchinson, Brandon Peters, Bruce Weaver, a new driver here, Jason Berg, and Dan Stuzy not coming out on to the track. So we will be right back if anybody else comes out on the track for qualifying. All right, that will do it for qualifying. It is going to be the 24 of Jeff Stabnow on pole. We're waiting for him to get down to the grid. Keep in mind, pay attention to the ticker up top if you haven't already. Right now, it is scrolling through people. Anyone that has a green bar means they have a win this season and are in the chase. We will be switching that here shortly to the interval ticker so you know where everyone is on the track and where they stack up against everyone else currently in the race. But right now, it will show who is in the chase with a win as Jeff Stabnow is getting onto the track. So we are going to go ahead and get to your starting grid here. It looks like Jeff Stabnow has taken it off the grid. So interesting there. We're going to switch over to a different driver here as we are on the grid. There it is. Your Walls Beard Co. starting grid for tonight's race is going to be the 24, Jeff Stabnow on row 1 with his teammate, the 29 of Mark Walls. Row 2 is going to be not sure what number that is. I believe it's the 21. No, not sure what number. 33 of Josh Coley. There we go. And the 95 of Josh Cushman. Row 3 is going to be the 71 of Brian Bennett and the 45 of Steve Silstad. Row 4 is going to be the 35 of Chris White and the 46 of Sean Breitzman. Row 5 is going to be the 89 of John Ottenbacher and the 4 of Brian Barnes. Row 6 is going to be the 9 of Corey Walters and the 8 of Gary Nichols. Row 7 is going to be the 77 of Tom Green and the 10 of Andy Vogt. Row 8 is going to be the 13 of Ryan Maines and the 21 of Jason Berg. Row 9 is going to be the 26 of Ray Fournier and the 91 of Scott Hutchinson. Row 10 is going to be the 36 of Bruce Weaver, the new driver here tonight, and the 5 of Brandon Peters. Row 11, all by himself, is going to be the 78 of Dan Astuzzi, and that will do it here for your Walls Beard Co. starting grid as they are rolling off, getting ready to get this thing started here tonight. You can see everybody getting going there. It looks like a little tire spin there from the 5 as everyone gets past the line. So we expect to see a great race here tonight. We always do with this league. 21 drivers have made the trip here. We got a lot of pink, especially in the front rows here. So big shout out to all the pink paint jobs out there. These guys put a lot of hard work into their setups and just as much into the actual race itself. So again, just a big shout out to the drivers here that have made this all possible. And Huffy, good to see you in chat. We know you're rooting for Jeff. I'm gonna call. We don't usually call the winner. We haven't in a long time, but I think I'm gonna call it here tonight. I am calling the 24 Jeff Stabnow. I think he's gonna be our race winner here tonight. We will definitely see. What we are about to see is you don't see anything yet. They're coming around to the green flag. There it is. Green flag in the air. We are racing here at Texas Motor Speedway as everybody gets the green flag at once, and we are racing. And they're going to really mix it up here. We got a lot of pink up in the front here thanks to Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Right now you have Stabnow, Coley, Walls, Cushman, Bennett are your top 5, and they're really going to mix it up. Trust me, you're going to see some really good battling here amongst these top drivers. As Jeff Stabnow out front at the moment. There's Josh Coley right behind him and Mark Walls. So those two have swapped spots. Mark Walls was second place. He is now in a third as Josh Coley was able to get by him fairly quickly, actually. Here to start this race. So we'll see right behind them is Josh Cushman running that number 95 machine here. And they're still side by side back here as they're going to sort it out. Here comes Steve Silstad trying to get by Chris White. Can he make it happen? Mark Walls to the inside is going to try to get by Josh Coley, and he will clear him. So it looks like from what we've seen, the inside lane is already proving to be the dominant line. This may be a one groove track here. If you want to get past somebody, you're going to have to get on the inside. That already seems to be a trend here 3 laps into this race. Oh, Huffy, we may have to get you in the booth if you're going to be here this late, as we still are looking for a second chair here for this race. Just to note here, where we're watching Brian Bennett and Chris White race, Scott Hutchinson, Bruce Weaver, and Jason Berg, those three drivers did not start the race here. Bruce Weaver was a brand new driver that did not start this race. So interesting to see. He came in practice, but he didn't race, which they allow. That is perfectly fine. If you don't feel comfortable yet, you don't have to race. Or if something came up, obviously you're not going to race. As the 35 getting to the back bumper of the 71, he didn't hit him, but he did take the air off there a little bit. And he's going to push him up, and he's going to take that spot. Perfectly executed move there by the 35 of Chris White, but unfortunately it's not quite gonna work, as he will get by him, but it took him a little bit more than he thought. I'm sure we're gonna go back here to John Ottenbacher. Look at this group of cars. And you got John Ottenbacher, Andy Vogt, Gary Nichols, Brian Barnes, Ryan Maines, Tom Green back here battling. These guys really duking it out back here for about 10th through about 14th. So a lot of racing action going on here early in this race, and I expect it to be the same throughout this race. Is not much is going to change. These guys are going to duke it out to the very end. It's just this is the way they go. They're very clean, but very aggressive drivers. They love to battle each other, and they're going to do it till the very bitter end. As we go back up to the front, Jeff Stab now leading this race still. And he has led every lap so far. Mark Wall's trying to catch him. Can he catch him is the question. As we're going to go back here where the battling is really going on. Ryan Maines, John Ottenbacher, side by side. Tom Green actually side by side with him now. So we'll see behind them Brandon Peters, and it looks like Ray Fournier next to each other as well. We do want to remind everyone, well, first off, thank everybody for tuning in here tonight. I know it's a late night broadcast, but we are definitely glad you're here. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button and the little bell. You'll be notified of all upcoming races here on VRN, as well as any events we put out, just information, stuff like that. We do put out random videos from time to time. And also, if you're not new and you like what you see here, we do have new features where you can super chat and ask a question, and we'll make sure to answer it, as well as a new membership. And as always, we have our normal donation button in there. All donations coming in right now are going towards the brand new overlays we are having made through iBog. So if you choose to do that, you don't have to, but that is what it's there for. And that is what it's going for, is brand new overlays to get a fresh new look here to VRN. A new cleaner look is what we're going for, so we are going to do so. But right back up in here, let's go see this. Andy Vogt, Brian Bennett side by side right now for 9th position. This is a position for 9th. They're both in the top 10, battling side by side, and just ahead of them, Sean Brightsman in the 46 and the 9 of Corey Walters still side by side as well. These two battling very close, and we still do not have an estimate on fuel. We're going to have to get that. We're going to have to talk to one of these drivers here if we get a chance, and see just how many laps they can do. But of course, if a caution does come out, that will change everything. So we are now 11 laps in. So before you know it, we'll be less than 100 laps to go. Again, 125 laps when you're running roughly 30-second laps is not going to take very long. You're running just over 2 laps a minute, technically 31 lap seconds, but that is with older tires. And we want to point that out here, is we're going to go to our leader, Jeff Stab now, and actually let's run on board with him with the roll bar camera here. That is the 24 of Jeff Stab. Now, while we run on board with him, we're looking at lap times. 29.738 was his fastest time here in the race. He is right now running 31.154. So we are already seeing nearly 2-second drop off in time. Once we get 31.7s, soon we get to there, that would be 2-second drop off. Here's you see Jeff Stab now coming up to the tri-oval, coming to the line. Let's run one more lap and we'll show you how to get around this track. And from our leaders, you come in, you don't want to go in too low too quick, or you could possibly spin it out here in Texas. That is unfortunately part of this track. As you'll see him come up right there by the stars. Ooh, and he almost gets into the wall too. That would have been bad. as he's going to get as close to it as he can. Dives in right before the three on the wall, the first three on the wall, and comes up right at the Texas sign right there where everyone scrapes the wall, dives it in a little bit, comes up and runs about mid-pack. Some people run a little bit higher up there when they come out of that corner. That is not how he is going to do it here tonight. So we're going to go back to our main camera and look who's behind him. Mark Walls running him down. Here is that his two teammates. Oh, Mark Walls into the wall. Monkey see, monkey do there as the 24 scraped it just a little bit, and then the 29 of Mark Walls hit it even harder. Is that was a typical case of monkey see, monkey do. He followed him right into the wall. That is unfortunate that happened. That's going to put a lot more damage on that 29 than it did the 24 and open the gap up to nearly a second. Again, it wasn't anything, a dirty move or anything. Jeff Stabnow just got into the wall a little bit himself. It's kind of a product. You see the car do it, and you're trying to follow him, and you just followed him right into the wall as well. So that is very bad news for the 29, but he can get in and get that fixed. But it doesn't look like too terribly much damage here. As we will pull that up here. Let's go to his roll bar camera real quick. And you see a little crinkle there on the right side, but not too much. So I think he should be pretty good here tonight. Let's go a little ways back here. Steve Silstad right now trying to run down Sean Brightsman. Not happening. We got somebody getting out of control. Oh, it's the 10 of Andy Vogt. Is he going to keep it off the racing surface? He does indeed keep it off the racing surface. No caution coming out so far. And he need to get it backed up. There he goes. He backs it up. And that still not going to bring out the caution. And we'll see if he gets it on the racing surface. It may indeed bring out a caution here for the 10 of Andy Vogt. But not going to happen as he gets it going once again up to, well, somewhat up to speed, about 112. We'll see if he's going to bring it down pit road. He is not. He's going to try to limp it around. And here comes the leader right there, the 24 of Jeff Stabnow. And he will come up on him very quickly and put him a lap down. Again, he's not even up to speed yet, so no surprise that he put him a lap down early in this race. Because of that, here comes Mark Walls. Now has a little bit of a buffer there between those two. Mark Walls is going to try to make something happen here and see if he can possibly, use that 10. But it's not. I don't think it's going to matter. The 10's far enough back now that it's not really going to matter too terribly much. Sometimes you can use those lap cars as a pick, but it's not going to happen here tonight. So that isn't, at least not yet in this race. We'll see if maybe later on in the night lap cars do play a factor into the race, but so far not happening right now. We'll take any help we can get. We are trying to find somebody to hire, but it has just not been easy with people getting out of broadcasting and not staying into it. We are looking for full-on teams and second chair commentators to come in here, but it looks like everyone's going to clear the 10 of Andy Vogt fairly easy there. And look how single file this field is. Let's see if we can take a wider look here. And I can't see. There we go. We'll get a wide angle with this camera here. You can see just how spread out this field is right there. Really spread out. Not much going on as you're watching Josh Cushman there in the 95. And that really shows you just how spread out these guys are around this track. And it is a big track, too, to get spread out on. So right now you have a little bit of battle going on between the 95 and the 46, as it looks like the 46 is going to get by. That's Sean Brightsman. He's going to pass the 35 or the 95 pretty easy there. It wasn't much of a battle going on. We're going to get down to our main camera here as Chris White almost getting into the outside wall there, coming into the tri-oval. We're going to go up here. Josh Coley now getting by the 10 as well. Again, the 10 of Andy Vogt is currently one lap down, so not a battle here for a position. It is track position, though. You want that inside line, and here comes Sean Brightsman, and as well as the 95 of Cushman to come by. Chris White will be next, followed by Steve Silstad. And again, just everyone really spread out at the moment. John Ottenbacher sitting back in that 89. He has damage. I'm not sure when he got it, but he does have a little bit of damage there. Let's go to his helmet camera here, and you'll see that damage right there on the right side. If we go to the roll bar camera, and now you can really see that damage that he's got to the right front, and that's going to hinder him slowing down just a little bit, having that on that splitter down there messed up just a little bit. So we are going to keep an eye to see if he does get that fixed with a fast repair later on in this race. As you can really hear those tires being scuffed right now as he comes around the corner, as he probably having a handful right now with that splitter acting the way it is. As you can see right there, it's really messed up in the air, and you want that splitter as far down to the ground as you can without dragging, and it being lifted up on one side is going to hurt him as far as speed goes. That's probably why he's back in 15 right now. As we'll take a look at that information. He started 9th. He's back to 14th. Again, that is going to be a lot of the reason why is because of that splitter being messed up. So he definitely wants to get it in as a caution comes out, and it's going to be Brandon Peters in the 5. Let's go back and take a look. What happened here to the 5 of Brandon Peters all by himself? We were just looking at the car in front of him too. Something happened. I have a feeling it was probably a self-inflicted wound here, as we will see most likely. Oh, trying to avoid someone else, and that was the 13 of Ryan Maines, and he just locks it up. Luckily doesn't hit anything, and that will bring out caution number 1 as we go back up to live. Jeff Stabnow, I would imagine they're coming down pit road this time, as they're running down on the bottom here. If they're going to come in, it's going to be this time. They wouldn't wait till the next time. Ryan Maines on pit road already, and we'll see, will the 24 of Jeff Stabnow come down pit road? There is the cone right there, and yes, indeed, everybody coming down pit road. No surprise there. We figured they would. So we're going to switch to a pit lane camera. There you can see all of pit road, everybody coming down. We'll see how this one works out. Will everyone make good stops, or will we see some mistakes made here on pit road? We're about to find out here. As you see that load of pink coming down pit road, and I don't see anyone having to mix up except for the 35 of Chris White. He did not take a pit stop here, and it looks like John Ottenbacher having some issues on pit road as well. They had to back up there just a little bit. Chris White not taking a pit stop here, so we'll see how this one works out for him. But Chris White not coming down pit road, so he will be on pit road for 21.5 seconds, but not taking a pit stop here. Let's pull Jeff Stabnow to the booth real fast, see how those tires are handling, and get a quick word in with him. So we'll go to his roll bar camera and go on board with him and take a quick word with him. Jeff Stabnow, you got a copy?
Hey, I got you, Charles.
Well, first off, you're leading this race right now, and I'm not sure if you may have heard over the radio, but we saw the reason you're in second, of course, is Chris White came down pit road for 21.5 seconds, but did not go into his pit stall. So maybe you might have shed some light on that, as to maybe he missed his pit stall, or what happened there.
Got to be an accident, because these tires were shot. This truck was a handful. Unless he's got his open setup, so he could have something completely different. But I know I was real loose there at the end of that runway. Mark was running me down. I wasn't even going to fight it if he got position on me. Not enough confidence there once this thing got about 20 laps on it to even try to make an evasive maneuver. So not sure how he's going on this restart here, but can't imagine not taking tires.
Well, that was the other question we were going to ask, is how were the tires? It sounds from what you're saying here that regardless of how this race goes, it's going to be a tire race, not a fuel race, even if we do have a few cautions or not. So would that be an accurate statement here for tonight's race?
Yeah, I think so. Again, everybody's got their own little takes on the sets, but we worked so hard to get the loose out of this truck with the way it's taken heat in those rear tires, and just couldn't get it. So, you're getting to 50 laps is going to be tough, and that's kind of where we're at now. The way this caution flew, we could make it on one more stop, but that would be real tough. I'm sure we'll see a caution.
Yeah, well, I think we probably will too. It looks like Chris White's going to pull off there. I'm wondering, looks like he made the mistake and just opted to lead the lap instead. His heat does go in. That'll put you back at the lead. Lights are off. Quick shout out, and we'll get you back to your race channel.
Oh, breast cancer awareness race here, Charles. I think what you and Wallace Beard Co. are doing here with our series is fantastic. Love the cause. Excited to be a part of this. Hope our pink trucks all look great on the broadcast. And thanks to VRN and Wallace Beard Co., man.
Definitely look good. We got a nice flow of pink up at the front. We're going to get you back there to your channel, and good luck. Hopefully we'll talk to you later today.
All right, 10-4, buddy.
All right, again, that was the 24 of Jeff Stabnow, as we are going to go right outside here, and why not, as we love to do here on VRN. Let's go crank it up style here on VRN. I do believe we have a crank it up camera, if I can find it anyway. I believe we do have one. We'll find out. There it is. I knew we had one, so we are going to go crank it up style, and we'll go radio silent for just a few laps. All right, we are back for a little crank it up here on VRN, late night crank it up. We're definitely glad everyone's here tonight. Hopefully you enjoyed that crank it up here. So we're going to get back to our main camera, and looks like the 24 has a sizable lead here as we are 32 laps in. You see it there, one caution for 4 laps, 94 laps to go. We have less than 100 laps to go. Hopefully the voice hangs in there that long, as it has been some great racing with Upper Edge here and now the Northwest Series. We'll go ahead and get rid of that. And we're going to go a little ways back here. So far, everyone getting spread out again. If you go up here, though, you see some good racing going on. But look at the train. Everyone really single filed out. And now that we know how these tires are handling, no surprise there to see that. We figured there might be some racing, and there will be later on in this night. I can assure you there will be some side-by-side racing. But it's going to come early in the race. It's not going to happen, or on the stint, not the race. We're already kind of into the race, but it's going to happen early on the stint. Once we get going, I don't expect to see too terribly much here as far as stuff goes racing, because those tires are so worn off. You're not going to see a whole lot of racing side-by-side action, but you will see some. So will be interesting to see how much side-by-side we see later in a stint, or will we see more single-file racing throughout the entire race. That is kind of stuff we just have to wait and see. We don't know right offhand. We're going to go back here and look at this little battle going here. Andy Vogt back on the lead lap after that. So again, his thing did not bring out a caution. That put him a lap down. Brandon Peters in the 5 after his incident. He is out of the race. Ryan Maines 1 lap down. Andy Vogt, who in the 10 who was a lap down, now he's back on the lead lap, and he's got a battle right there with his hands full between Brian Bennett and Chris White. Both of them trying to run him down and get by him. Meanwhile, they've hit a roadblock up here as we got somebody down on the apron. I'm not sure who that is. Somebody was definitely down on the apron, but they got it back together. But look at this group here. Andy Vogt, Ray Fournier, Chris White, Brian Bennett, Dan Stuzzi. All these guys battling right here just in front of them. If I don't lose my voice. Excuse me. You have the 95 of Josh Cushman. And I believe that's the 8 of Gary Nichols. So another little battle going on there. Again, while the battles are far and few between, they are starting to happen as these tires are a little bit fresh right now. They're 11 laps into the stint. We heard from Jeff Stabnow. He said at 20 laps in, his setup was not handling. Looks like for the rest of these guys back here, they may be handling a little bit better than that. That being said, it's also only 11 laps into the stint, so later on in this run, that may not be the case. As you see the 35 trying to work by the 10. Here comes the 77, who was very quick in practice. We'll take a look here to see. He started in 13th. However, he is in the 12th, so he has gained one spot as Chris White is going to get by him. But again, very fast in practice. I'm surprised to see him as far back as he is. Although he did say he didn't know how he got that lap, so he may be trying to reproduce it somehow. As sometimes you just run that miracle lap, you don't know how you did it, and you try to replicate it, and just can't. So that is a possibility too, as it looks like Ray Fournier is going to get by the 77 here of Tom Green. Let's see if he can make it stick. Again, a good battle in front of them. We're going to go up here to Steve Silstad, who's trying to get by the 9 at Corey Walters. That is for 5th position right now. Those two battling side by side, and it looks like Ray Fournier is going to have to Steve Silstad is going to have to settle for 6th place. Corey Walters able to hold him off as they go into turn 3. And here comes Steve Silstad on the inside. And he may have the momentum. We'll see at the line. It is going to be Steve Silstad for... He had 5th for a split second. He has it again. Now we'll see, but he's got to clear him, and he'll do it right there. He will indeed clear him. Steve Silstad to 5th place here early in this race. And looking up to the front of this field, Jeff Stabnow still leading this race. He is your race leader at the moment by quite a bit. As he has right now a 1.399 second lead over his teammate Mark Walls right there, who's got his other teammate Sean Breisman all over his back bumper. So we very well could see a 1-2-3 finish for Wicked Chassis Racing tonight, as it's Stabnow, Walls, and Breisman. 1-2-3. Or could Josh Coley, Steve Silstad, Corey Walters, Brian Barnes, even Gary Nichols, any of these guys in the top 10, they may have something to say about that, and they may not want it to happen. As we're going back here to Steve Silstad, Corey Walters, and Brian Barnes. That is currently 5th, 6th, and 7th battling on the track. So again, so far, so good. We're coming up on the halfway point here shortly, as right now we have 83 laps to go. Not quite there, but we will be there before you know it. As this race is winding down very quickly as far as laps go. Again, only one caution, and I don't expect to see many more than that. Ryan Maines out of the race now. We already mentioned Brandon Peters out of the race. Scott Hutchinson, Bruce Weaver, and Jason Berg did not start the race here tonight. Let's go back up to 2nd and 3rd place, Mark Walls and Sean Breisman. Breisman running down his teammate Mark Walls in that 29 machine. Can he catch him and pass him? That's two different things. So we'll see. Make sure if you're here tonight and you like the race, hit that thumbs up button. Let us know you like it. That is one of the best ways to let us know if you like the racing. Is by hitting that thumbs up, of course, the subscribe and little bell to be notified of all upcoming races. Here we are on lap 45, so we're going to take a quick break here, go non-stop with a commercial break. We'll be right back as we're going to go non-stop here on VRN. Alright, we are back, ladies and gentlemen. Here is we are watching on lap 47 of 125 laps. On tonight, the Xfinity cars ran 100 laps. They're running 25 more laps here at Texas Motor Speedway. And so far, Sean Brightsman still unable to get by his teammate, Mark Walls. As that we're watching here, Dan Stuzzi going through the grass so far, no caution. And he will get it back going, though. No caution will come out for the 78 of Dan Stuzzi. Let's go back and take a quick look to see what happened to Dan Stuzzi in that 78. Again, no caution came out here for the 78. But obviously something happening to him. We're going to see. I have a feeling it's happening right in here as the car just, outside wall hard. Excuse me, losing my voice there. Apologize for that. Through the grass. Keeps it going in the right direction there. And he will get it going once again. So good job for Dan Stuzzi to keep it going. Although that will cost him a little bit of time. He is on pit road, and it looks like a puff of smoke that night will be done here for him, as Dan Stuzzi going to have to reset and use his fast repair. So engine troubles here after that for Dan Stuzzi and that 78 machine. Meanwhile, Jeff Stabnow out front leading this race. He's got his two teammates behind him, Josh Coley, trying to come in and make the upset to disturb that 1-2-3 finish in the race. We'll see who is it gonna be here. I am seriously losing my voice. We do apologize, but we're gonna see right back here Chris White trying to get by Andy Vogt, who again had troubles early in this race but was able to recover from those due to the caution coming out, getting him his lap back. A good job for him to get that back. Chris White's trying to take 8th position away from him if he possibly can. Let's go back to 10th place, who was Gary Nichols all by himself, but right behind him you have Brian Bennett, Josh Cushman, Ray Fournier. All these guys are not settling at all. They want every position they can get, and they are bound and determined to take that position. So don't count any of these guys out just yet, as they could easily get a top 10. They're back here currently 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th, all the way down to 15th. And surprisingly enough, John Ottenbacher's still having issues here with that splitter. It's got to be causing him problems as he's back in 15th. So he definitely is struggling here, unlike his teammates, and they're probably running the same setup. As there you see Dan Stuzzi coming back down pit road. He's currently 3 laps down, and he is going to take 4 tires here and fuel probably, and just go ahead and take a pit stop. As again, we don't quite know a fuel window here. What we do know is we're on 27 laps on this stint. We have completed 53 laps, or on lap 54, and we are trucking along here tonight. There it is, 72 laps to go. So we still have over half this race to go with only 1 caution so far. Will we see another caution? I'm just not too sure. I can't positively say yes that we will, but then again I can't say no that we won't either. So it's going to be just a waiting game to see if we do see any more cautions or not. It's up in the air at this point. What we can say is they have really spread this race out at the moment here. So we're going to go to Sean Brightsman here and his teammates, Mark Walls, and we're just going to let you watch these to see if he's reeling him in at the moment. As we're going to pull up something we don't use very often. Let's go ahead and pull this up. This is, well, never mind. There it is. The caution is coming out, and it's going to be the 10 of Andy Vogt. And it looks like Chris White being involved as well. So we'll go ahead and go back to the replay camera. What happened here is you see the 71 of Brian Bennett, the 10 of Andy Vogt, and the 35 of Chris White all involved in this. And so we'll go down here and see if we can get a view, and we just miss it at that angle. So let's go back here just a little bit here again. Oh, and there's Ray Fournier getting involved in this. Let's go back and take a look. Let's go to our spotter camera and see what we can figure out here happening between the 10 and the 35. We just don't have a real good camera angle at it. We're going to try to find one here. Something going wrong here with the 10, I do believe, is right in here is about when it happened. And it looks like he gets into the outside wall, collects the 35. The 35 trying to lock the brakes up, and it just doesn't happen. And having an issue there, I'm not sure what went on. Looked like he had a stutter or something, and had something weird going on there. But we're gonna go back to live, and so we'll go to Jeff Stab now, who's leading the field down pit road once again. No surprise there, as everyone coming down. And we'll see, will they have good pit stops, or will we see anybody making a mistake here? As Chris White coming off pit road this time while everyone else is coming down. He was there for damage. As we'll see who is going to be the first one off pit road. As you have the 29 and the 46 revving their engines. The 24 peels off pit road. It's going to be Jeff Stab now that wins the battle off pit road. And then it'll be Sean Breitzman coming in, followed by Corey Walters, Steve Stilsat, and Mark Walls as we go back to the front of this field. And let's get a little teammate rivalry going on. Let's pull Sean Breitzman down, who's in second place right now, and have a quick chat with him, as we're going to actually go on board with him. As we'll go to his roll bar camera here and go on board here and take him, and we'll bring him down real quick. Sean Breitzman, you got a copy?
Got a copy.
Well, we got some teammate rivalry going on here tonight. There for a while we had 1, 2, 3 for your team. Right now it's 1 and 2. So we've got to ask those questions here, the tough ones. You have your teammate Jeff Stab now in front of you. So what are you going to do to try to get by him here on the start? As we heard from him earlier, that passing is almost impossible after a few laps, so you've got to get by him quick. Do you have a plan to try to do that?
I think I've got a better long run set in truck and driver inputs. So I don't think I'll get by him on the start. If I do, it'll be up high or a crossover or something like that. But I'm definitely going to try. I want to go out there and lead the lap, but I don't want to burn up my tires too much. So.
Well, definitely leading a lap is going to be beneficial to obviously getting those bonus points. But I can't tell. It looks like the lights are still on here. So overall, we'll get your thoughts on it. We got his. How is the truck handling here? And obviously, do you think you have the winning truck here tonight? If this race goes a long green flag run, it sounds like you do. But what if it goes short?
If it goes short, I think we're gonna have to make some adjustments here to the chassis and see if we can't get get it down from the long run truck to a decent short run truck, and we might be able to contend, but it'll be pretty tough. I'm hoping for the long run, but we'll see what we can do.
Well, definitely will. Lights are off on the pace car here, so we'll let you get your shout out real quick, and then we'll get you back to your race channel.
Just thanks to Walls Beard Co. and Wicked Chassis Racing for the great setup tonight, and everybody out there for the breast cancer awareness race week here. Shout out to you guys.
All right, well, again, hopefully we'll talk to you later, and we'll get you back up to your channel.
Thanks, Charles.
All right, that was the 46 of Sean Breitzman, as we're under caution here for the second time, as we're going to get our onboard camera off, and we are going to get over to the main camera. Pace car is getting ready to get on pit road where it belongs. We'll see how this one goes, as the 24 Jeff Stab now getting ready to take the green flag here. And we are going to pull Andy vote if we can find it. There we go. green flag getting ready to come out. There it is. A green flag is in the air, and as they take the green, we have a special guest here in the booth. We do have Andy voted here. So first off, Andy, we saw the little incident on the track. What happened? And you said you're parking it here for tonight.
Well, the truck is definitely a little tricky driving here tonight. Back end just decided to get out from under me on that first incident, and it went straight for the wall. It didn't want to recover, and I ate the wall pretty hard and had to use the fast repair right there. That second incident, we just got up against the wall there, and the ass end kind of jiggled around a little bit on me, and before I could recover it, I was right into Chris White, I believe it was, and just both of us went sideways at that point.
Well, definitely not the way you expected it to go here. But, hey, you know, we never want to see you out of the race, but awesome to have you here in the booth as a special guest, and you get to see it from our point of view now for the rest of the race as we're watching these front guys battle right here. I have a feeling this may be a wicked chassis kind of night. Those three have just been very quick, but, you know, you can't count out Corey Walters in there. Steve Silstad, Brian Barnes, Josh Coley, even Gary Nichols in your top 8 right now. Those guys have been very quick, as yourself was earlier.
Yeah, they're definitely driving very well today. They've got this track figured out. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, they definitely do, and obviously a lot of pink out there for breast cancer awareness. So we may be a little biased. Maybe we want to see a pink car win tonight. But yeah, we're watching this one here. I really think if anybody's going to give Jeff a run for his money here, I really think it's going to be Mark, Sean, or even Corey Walter. I think those are going to be the ones we have to watch here tonight, as they have been really good, and I am really hoping I don't lose my voice, as it is really starting to fade now. But Brian Barnes, surprisingly, doesn't always qualify, but seems to always do really good here in these races.
Yeah, he certainly does. Been seeing him, work his way up to the front every week. It'd be nice to see him get up there and have a shot at it.
It definitely would. He's one of those that he flat just doesn't qualify. He likes the challenge of going through the field. So it'd be awesome to see him get up there and get the win here tonight. So we're taking a look here. I'm going to look through this field a little bit. Since you were just in there, what is this track like as far as groove-wise? We didn't get a chance to talk to anyone about if it's a multi-groove racing here tonight, if it's more of a single groove, and also as far as fuel strategy, if we get a long green flag run, how many laps can they go on fuel here tonight?
I never got a chance to do a fuel run, so I'm not really sure on the fuel, but looking at the laps left, I suspect they can probably just about get to the end of the race on fuel. Tires are going to be the real trick. As far as the groove, early on, you kind of want to be down towards the bottom of the track because early the truck has a real tendency of wanting to push. As things go on, the truck starts to loosen up a little bit, and that bottom line starts to get a little bit treacherous, and you want to move it up towards the middle and be very gentle with the throttle coming out. That's kind of what got me into troubles. I just wasn't gentle enough with the throttle, and it would get to wobbling a little bit, and once that happens, it's really hard to get back under control.
Yeah, that is one thing about these trucks. Yeah, you really have to baby them, especially here. And part of that is just this track. Texas is one of those tracks, like Atlanta, like Charlotte. It's a very finicky track. You really have to, you just have to baby everything here, whether it's the Xfinity, the Cup, or the trucks. You really have to baby these cars quite a bit around these tracks, especially getting into the triangle, into turn 1, in select places on the track. And real quick to answer James Thurston, yes, it has been a long night here. 2 broadcasts back-to-back from about 7 o'clock till we'll be here till at least 1 my time probably, maybe a little earlier. Losing the voice here, so again, we're thankful that Andy's here now, but obviously bad circumstances to get you here. So we are definitely thankful because we might not lose our voice now thanks to you, Andy.
Well, it's definitely a pleasure to be here, and first time in here, so it's definitely a little bit of a change compared to being out on the track.
Yeah, it really is a different perspective here as we get to see more of the track than obviously you get to see limited just through the cockpit of the car. As you really get to see how everyone's going. And when you're in a race and you see something go one way, it is nice here as we get to watch and dissect it as it goes. So it's really nice to be in the booth. It does help out quite a bit here. It gives you a new feel for how this race goes, especially when you get to go back and forth here and watch these as Josh Coley does make the pass on Corey Walters. And I really thought Corey Walters had the truck to get up there, but it seems like we were talking to Jeff earlier and Sean Brightson about their trucks. I think maybe Corey Walters has more of a short-term or short-run truck more than the long run. Seems like he falls off a little bit here on the long runs.
Yeah, and I'm expecting to see more long runs like what we had right there. This kind of feels like a self-cleaning track, and that's kind of what got me in trouble in the first incident. Is the truck went off the track and no caution flew. By the time I got back up to speed, Jeff was already catching back up to me and coming around to lap me. So unless something happens and those trucks stay up there on the track, you're going to get left behind real quick if you get loose and get down to that inside.
Yeah, and that's one thing, we try our best here to make this as lifelike as we can, make it look as real as possible. But at the end of the day, if something happens, if you do spin like we saw you did earlier, and you're off the racing surface, you're not in harm's way as far as actually being hurt or debris, so the caution will not come out. That being said, while we're watching these leaders up here for just a minute, I do want to mention that they are working on a new damage model. So as to what that's going to change as far as cautions, that could be interesting. Debris will fall off these cars with that new damage model that they say is pretty close to being done. So this could get very, very interesting. Had that happened like it did to you earlier, getting into the wall and debris falling off the car, would that have triggered a caution where it wouldn't now? That is something that we kind of don't know, but kind of looking forward to later on, as this new damage model could really change the whole aspect of iRacing.
Yeah, I certainly could see how that could make some changes there. And like you say, getting some debris on the track, it's going to have to throw a caution because they're going to have to get that debris off. Otherwise, it's going to damage other vehicles.
Yeah, so we're kind of looking forward to that to see how it goes. As from the ones we've seen so far, it is definitely as you would have to hit them pretty hard in order for a panel to fall off one of these things. So I'm just not sure how much that's going to, what could possibly fall off one of these cars. So it's going to be a whole new thing that we haven't dealt with before. So looking forward to it, and this very well could be as early as December, early next year that this comes out.
Yeah, and that one impact I had, I could certainly see the hood coming off from the truck as hard as I hit it. Buckled it back, hood pins would have broke, and the hood would have been right off it at the speed I was going. I'm watching up here, second and third place. We might actually have a battle going on here shortly.
Yeah, just jumped to that myself. That has been a really good one. And again, Sean Brightsman is one of those we talked to early in this race. Or I guess a little early. It was about halfway in or so. That he said he thought he had a better long run truck. So it's going to be interesting to see if he can get by the 29. Will he be able to catch Jeff Stabnow here? In these closing laps. We're on lap 78 right now. Now 79. We'll take a look at that. We've had 2 cautions here for 8 laps. We have 47 laps to go. Right now, Stabnow is out front, and he's led 77 laps. That one lap that was not led was by Chris White, who I think actually made a mistake on pit road. And instead of taking the time to fix it and falling to the back, he opted to just go around and lead a lap and then come back in, which I think is a good call. If you make that mistake, why make it worse? Just get off pit road and lead the lap.
Yeah, you're that. I definitely agree with you on that.
So we'll see. Maybe we'll get a chance to talk with him later on tonight. We'll see where he's at right now. He is currently on the lead lap in 9th place. He was able to use his fast repairs. He was involved in that wreck. So, again, hopefully we'll get a chance to talk to him. If we do it a caution, maybe we can pull him up here and chat with him. I really don't know who's going to win this race. I think probably Jeff Stabnow has the best shot at it, but it could be Walls or Brightsman. Josh Coley, someone, he just came out of nowhere when he came onto the scene and immediately showed these guys what was up.
He's been a tough competitor. I've gone head-to-head with him a couple times on a couple of these tracks out there, and he puts on a one heck of a race.
That he does. He is definitely out here putting on a race, showing them guys how it's done. And interesting, we did have a new driver here, Bruce Weaver, but he didn't start the race here. And we bring that up because we want to update here, of course. Jason Berg, Bruce Weaver, and Scott Hutchinson did not start. Brandon Peters, Ryan Maines, and then, of course, yourself here in the booth with us are currently out of the race. Dan Stuzzi currently 3 laps down, as well as Brian Bennett. So those two 3 laps down, but they are out on the track right now. They're quite a ways from each other, but if they could get together, they would be a battle for position. But still, Sean Brightsman, as we go back with him, has cut down his teammate, the 29 of Mark Walls, but just hasn't been able to get by him.
Yeah, I was in a battle with Mark a little bit earlier, and Mark's tough to get by. I made a couple attempts and just had to back it off.
Yeah, he is definitely somebody that will not just hand over the position. So you really have to work your way by him if you're going to. He makes it tough.
And this is one of those tracks you don't want to get pinned down on the inside for very long if you can help it, because you're burning up your tires the whole time you're doing that. The longer you stay down there trying to get by somebody, the more you're eating up those tires. Oh, here goes second and third.
They are indeed the 46 of Brightsman by his teammate, and he will clear the pass. And, what makes it even more interesting of a move here is the fact that they are on 27 laps on this stint. And we heard earlier that after about 20 laps, these tires are shot. And you could probably confirm that a little bit more, but about how long, that was for Jeff Stabnow anyway, when you were out there, about how many laps was it before these tires were just complete garbage?
About that 15 lap mark is when you really started to feel the looseness setting in, and I don't know, we were 25 laps when I ended up putting it into the wall. They get pretty slick. The nice thing is the tightness goes away. It's just, like I said earlier, kind of paying attention to what the truck is doing. And actually, what I noticed there happen on that pass was that Sean that ended up dropping back into third had actually scraped the wall just a touch before he lost some speed.
Well, it's going to be a very interesting, to see how this one plays out. I don't think we're going to have too many cautions, if we will have any more. We've only had those 2, and I don't think we're going to see too terribly many more. Your front 3 really have a huge gap, 7.3 seconds over the lead. But back here, we go back to about 4th, 5th place. You have Josh Coley, Steve Silsad, Corey Walters. They're still putting on some good little battles back here. While those front 3 have kind of checked out from the field, your 4th, 5th, and 6th still right there together, especially 5th and 6th right now of Steve Silsad and Corey Walters.
Yeah, and it looks like we're going to have some passing action going on the old tires here shortly, even in that backpack right now.
They are indeed. Corey Walters trying to get by, and if he can slide up right here, he should be good. He will clear him. And right behind them, too, Chris White trying to get by Brant Barnes. So more passing going on. So on these older tires, passes are starting to be made. But again, it's going to be very far and few between, I think. is you're going to have to pick your passes very carefully, as obviously you know as well. With these older tires, you don't have the grip you did, especially when you're looking at their times. 29.7 the fastest for Jeff Stabnow. He's running 31.6s, actually 31.7. They are 2 seconds off their fast times, which means they're slow and they're worn.
Yeah, slow, worn. If you watch them really close, they're also sliding up fairly close to the wall coming out of the corners. And where you're going to end up trying to make a lot of your passes is waiting for somebody to make a mistake and just, even slightly scrub that wall and just bleed enough speed so that you can catch them on the next corner.
Yeah, and we'll get your driver's side of this, as it looks like we have some possible takers for pit road here. I'm not sure.
Accident.
Oh,
they just wrecked going into pit.
Whoa, the 33 of Josh Coley. No caution coming out because they are on pit road. Let's go back and we'll take a quick look at that, as pit stops are apparently starting here with 33 laps on this stint. Going to be 34, but we need to go back and take a look at this and see exactly what happened. Very interesting, again, that it didn't bring out a caution because it was off the racing surface. But had more people been coming down pit road, this could have been very, very dangerous.
And I'll tell you, getting into pit row on these old tires on this hot track, you geared down at the wrong time, you tap the brakes at the wrong time, and that's what you're going to have right there. That back end just comes out from behind you. Once you start sliding, it's really hard to get it straightened back out and back under control.
It definitely looked like it was. Jimmy, to note, Josh Cushman in that 95, what a narrow miss. He may have got a little bit of damage, but just barely any of that. He barely missed that. Or Josh Cushman in the 95. He just narrowly avoided getting into the 45.
Yeah, that was, I'm pretty sure he scraped a little bit of paint off on the side going by.
Yeah, I'm thinking he did too, as that was super close. And it looks like right now Jeff Stabnow coming down pit road. He will be the first one of our, top 3, top 5 coming down pit road. Josh Coley was up there. He came down, so we're going to see what kind of times and if any mistakes are made. We'll follow all these pit stops. And it looks like a fairly good stop here for the 24. He will use his fast repair. And here comes the rest of the field. Chris White, Brian Barnes coming down. And Brian Barnes had to back up just a little bit, but I think he's good. Tom Green also coming down pit road.
Now, these pits, this is where you can make or break your race, especially when you're sitting out there in the front. A little bit of a slip up, slide through, get a little bit off kilter where they, make you reposition. That can cost you the race.
They can indeed. And I'm actually really surprised here, too. Looking here is Gary Nichols coming down pit road. That's Mark Walls. He has been on pit road as well. But their teammate, Sean Breitzman, has not come down pit road. You would think they would come down together on the pit road, but they have not. So Sean Breitzman has not come down. John Ottenbacher has not come down. And Ray Fournier has not come down. As well as actually Brian Bennett has not come down either. Steve Silstad still on pit road. Looks like he's coming back down as he was there earlier. But interesting to see teammates not coming down together here in the race.
Yeah, commonly teammates, you want to come down together. That way you can kind of work together when you get back on the track. And the other side of the thing that you really have to watch for from a driver's perspective is I don't think I would want to stay out on a track like this one for too long on old tires with everybody else changing them out. Because in the long run, you're really not going to have that much of an advantage. Your tires are still going to be pretty worn towards the end of the run anyway. And you're just going to put yourself in a situation where they're gaining a couple seconds a lap on you every time around.
Yeah, they definitely will be gaining time on you, as we just mentioned that there. We'll go to Jeff Stabnow here, who is right now running 30.1s on those fresh tires compared to Sean Breitzman. 31.8, so a 1.8 seconds slower on those old tires, as it looks like the 29 is actually going to get by the 24 here after pit stops kind of cycle out. And it looks like John Ottbacher finally coming down pit road, but Sean Brightsman and Ray Fournier still choosing not to come down pit road. But there we'll have it. Sean Brightsman actually puts Ray Fournier a lap down, even though they're on the same lap. And we have only one driver, Sean Brightsman, on the lead lap right now. Oh.
Yeah, I'm kind of watching everything come through, and everybody seems to be driving good and clean at the moment, other than just a little bit of problems that they had in the pits.
It definitely does. And right now, I'd be surprised if Sean Brightsman didn't come down pit road. While there is only one car himself on the lead lap, there goes the 29 of Mark Walls. So he's technically second place ahead of the leader at the tail end of the lead lap. And the 24 is coming up there too, as he will unlap himself. So at this point, if I'm the 20 or the 46, you almost have to come down because they are starting to unlap you now, or unlap themselves. So I definitely, if I'm the 46 of Sean Brightsman, I think I would go ahead and come down, and we may see him come down the next lap.
And, maybe he's hoping for a caution to fly or something. You get a little bit of a scramble and everything, everybody coming out on those new tires, and they can be a little slick sometimes. Incidents happen trying to get out of the pits. It's a little touchy getting out of the pit row over here, and a little bit of a slip up, and he gets that caution he's looking for, but he may have waited a little too long for it.
And we'll see here. We have one car, that is Ray Fournier, on pit road. I thought we had a car spinning and he was going to luck out and get it, but Ray Fournier on pit road, so no caution so far. Back to Sean Brightsman, who again just got passed by his teammates. He's still technically the leader. He has just been passed, so 2 cars lap down, and he is still not coming down here. I'm curious, as neither one of us know what a fuel mileage is here. He has 45 laps on that stint. He has 23 laps to go. I'm curious if he can make it on fuel.
Well, and I wouldn't be surprised if you could get, 60 to 70 laps on a tank in these. These trucks actually do really good fuel-wise on these tracks. The real question is going to be whether or not he can stay out ahead. Oh, and he just clipped the wall.
Yeah, those tires are definitely shot. And right now, they are definitely pulling away from him. So while they're pulling away, let's go actually up to them. As those are, again, 2 teammates that nearly collide with each other, running side by side with identical paint jobs here tonight nearly. But they almost collide going into the corner. Again, this isn't a battle for the lead, it's a battle for second place. First place is actually behind them. But still an awesome battle there, as it looks like the 77 is going to get one of his laps back as well.
And I'm kind of wondering if Sean's hoping that they race long enough out here, get enough laps, get 15 or so laps, and their times are going to be down close to what his are, because I don't think there's much of a drop-off after a certain point anyway. You get about that 1.5 to 2 second drop off, and it really doesn't drop much more than that. A lot of it's just, driving cautious at that point in time, because your tires really aren't going to drop out that much more anyway.
That is
so
a very
if he's shooting for
point.
fuel, that could be why.
It could be, because we noticed that it takes about, I'd say 20 to 25 laps, and you're already getting that fall off. As right now, 31.5 for Mark, 31.6 for Jeff. 32 O's for Sean Brightsman, but again, he's being pushed up, not in the groove he likes, so not much slower. So this could be a winning strategy if he can make it on fuel. There's only 20 laps to go, going to be 19 at the line, so I think Sean Brightsman picked a winning strategy here. Again, if we're right, he can make it on fuel. I don't think they're going to catch him. They're still on the same straightaway. While they did get by, I think you're right here with 15 or 16 laps for Mark Walls, 12 for Stabnow. They're already into the high 31s. 31.4 and a 5 for Jeff Stabnow and Mark Walls, 31.8 for Sean Brightsman. So only 0.4 difference between 50 laps and 17.
Yeah, and there's not enough laps to make up that much room with that little difference.
Oh, there is not. So Sean Brightsman being the mad scientist with the strategy here tonight, may put it in the victory lane. Would be awesome to see if he could. And I'm thinking he already has a win here, but I'm going to try and confirm that really fast. I know he does have a win in the Xfinity, if I'm correct. We are going to look that up real quick just to make sure, as we're going to load into it, go to Season 5. And indeed, Sean Bryson.
One of the leaders just went around up there. I couldn't tell if that was Jeff or Mark that got into the wall.
And, it is Jeff. Heavy contact. As he's got a ton of damage. So, it stinks that it's his teammate, but that is good news for Brightsman. As even if they were able to catch him, that truck is not going to do it. With 16 laps to go, you don't, unless a caution comes out, he is not going to be able to get in and get that damage repaired. So he definitely would love to see a caution so he could get in and get that damage repaired if he hasn't already used his fast repair, and I think he has.
Yeah, and the other way around, sitting up in first place, Sean does not want a caution coming out at this point in time because that's going to pack him all back up and take away the advantage he has.
It would indeed. I will note here that Sean Brightsman has 2 wins on the season already. So that being said, he doesn't need a win to be locked into the chase later this season. So that being said, that really makes me wonder if he really is going to be borderline making it on fuel. And that's why he's doing this gamble. He has nothing to lose. He's already locked in. So it very well could be, a lap or so borderline making it on fuel for the 46.
Well, and another thing to keep in mind, driving a little bit slower now, that fuel kind of stretches out a little bit longer too, and he's got plenty of room to stretch it even further. I'm sure he's probably watching those splits right now between him and Mark up there to figure out, how much he can ease up and just kind of take it easy and coast it across the line.
He does indeed. Coming to the line now, 13 to go. He has a currently 27 second gap between him and Mark Walls. Because of that impact with the outside wall, Jeff Stab now 30 seconds behind. Everybody else 1 lap or more down. So he can conserve a lot before he has to worry about anything. As I really do think he picked a winning strategy here tonight. Makes you wonder if his teammates might be kicking themselves right now that they didn't choose that same strategy, as they're talking to each other.
Well, it actually looks like Mark picked up a little bit of damage from that too, because when I was watching, it looked like they kind of got into each other. And he's got a little bit of damage to his rear spoiler.
Oh, that would definitely not be good. And there we see it too, to the right side, the right back side of that truck. It does have damage. So it makes you wonder if it's we caught it earlier with those same 2 drivers, Mark Walls and Jeff Stabnow, the monkey see, monkey do. We saw Jeff kind of go up and kind of scrape the wall, and you don't mean to do it. If you're following someone, you kind of do what they do, and it cost Mark Walls more that time. This time it looks like it cost Jeff Stabnow more, but again, you don't really mean to follow him. It just kind of happens.
And part of what happened to me, it may have happened to them as well. When you get up against that wall, the truck gets a little bit squirrely when you got somebody up close to you. I think a little bit of the draft or something causes some issues, and a little bit of bobbing, and it very well could have caused Jeff to come down into Mark when it started bobbling back and forth. And there's, once again, there's nothing you can do about it. The truck just kind of gets a mind of its own.
It definitely has a mind of its own when it wants to. So it's unfortunate when it gets that way. But it does do it from time to time, and really, I'm looking through this field here as we go through. There's not a whole lot going on as far as battles. There's a little bit of one starting to brew back here between.
Look at Sean.
Sean coming down pit road here. This could get very interesting if he's going to be able to get out of pit road before these guys pass him. As apparently he either just can't handle those tires anymore, or he is not going to make enough fuel. Also, the 71 coming down to Brian Bennett, so I'm not sure why he's coming down And if I was a betting man, I'm going to say Sean Brightsman, for one, having troubles on pit road, nearly spinning it out. 5.5 seconds on pit road. He wasn't going to make it on fuel. This was a fuel strategy, and he probably knew what he was going to do coming into this.
Well, now he's got the advantage on the tires if he can get his speed up and get back up to him.
He does indeed, and he has 9 laps to do it. I thought if he could try to make it on fuel, I think he had the winning truck here tonight and the winning strategy. Right now, with 9 laps to go, he's got a lot of speed to build up to catch them. I honestly don't think he's going to get the win here tonight. I could be wrong, but with only 8 laps to go, he has a deficit of about 9 seconds to go. We'll see if he can make that up.
Well, these trucks actually get up pretty close to full speed within about the first 3/4 of a lap, because you're having to slow down for the corners anyway, or ease up a little bit on the corners. You get up to speed pretty quick.
Well, we could be in for a surprise then here. Will he be able to make it? Well, we'll find out, as he is already, we'll keep an eye on that between first and third right now, 9.6 seconds. We'll keep a very close eye on that. And what he's, not only does he have to get by the leader, he's got to get by his teammate Jeff Stabnow. So not only do you have one car to get by, you have 2 cars to get by. And that's going to make it even more tough to get by. And he may just be out there, trying to get a top 3 finish.
And that very well could be. Plus, he's got to deal with lap traffic up there as well.
This is an interesting call for sure. And again, Brian Bennett still on pit road here for 11 seconds. So he came back down once again. Gary Nichols on pit road as well. Your current leader at the moment is the 29 of Mark Walls, as he will come up to get 5 laps to go. And again, this is kind of that point of no return. Once the 5 laps to come out, or 5 laps to go comes out, if a caution was to come out now, this race would be over. And just to note here why that's important is looking at Sean Brightsman here. With these guys, he did get by the lap cars, though. He currently now has a 10-second gap, so he actually lost some time and is still losing time to the leader.
I'm kind of watching Sean back here. He's really not he's not pouring on the coal or anything, so I think he's just coasting it in for third. Like you said, taking a podium finish.
Definitely nothing wrong with taking a podium finish here. Obviously, going to put 1, 2, 3 for their team, so you can't complain about that. Obviously, they'd love to see John Ottenbacher get in there as well in 4th, but it's not going to happen. So all he's got to do is hold off Chris White, and that could pose a slight problem for him here with 3 laps to go. Is Chris White is 0.233 seconds off of Sean Brightsman, and he is going to possibly try to use the 89 to help get by, as Brightsman's going to have to get as low as he can to try to keep this position of 3rd place.
And watching, he's going to have a bit of a tough time passing, too.
He definitely is, and we'll go up to Mark Walls as he is coming out of turn 2. Sean Brightsman just getting in to the corner now. So Mark Walls getting into a 3. He'll be coming in to 4 here momentarily, as he is coming to the line, comes out of turn 4, gets into the tri-oval. And right there at the line now will officially be 1 lap to go. 1 to go, presented by Northwest Racing Series, as this is the Walls Beard Co. Survive, Thrive, and Drive 187 here at Texas Motor Speedway. And it is looking like it's going to be the 29 of Mark Walls getting the win, followed by Jeff Stabnow and Sean Brightsman in the top 3, assuming Chris White doesn't get by the 64 here on this last lap.
I'm watching it back here, and Sean really started to pour on the coal there. He started putting a little bit of space between, and he's actually pulling out on each of the corners.
He is indeed, and the checkered flag is waving, and it is indeed going to be Mark Walls bringing home the win here tonight. Again, he only led, 9 laps, and those were the 9 laps that were most important, mainly that last one, as he will bring home victorious here tonight. So we'll go ahead and get to your unofficial race results, and then we will get to the post-race show. Talk to our top 3 interviews here tonight, as Mark Walls can do some celebrating. Your unofficial race results are as follows. Getting the win here tonight will be the 29 of Mark Walls, followed by the 24 in second place of Jeff Stabnow. Third place will be the 46 of Sean Breitzman. Fourth place will be the 35 of Chris White. And fifth place will go to the 9 of Corey Walters. Sixth place will be Brian Barnes. Seventh place, Josh Coley. Eighth place, Tom Green. Ninth place, John Ottenbacher. And 10th place will go to Josh Cushman. 11th place will be Ray Fournier. 12th place, Steve Silstad. 13th, Dan Susie. 14th, Brian Bennett. And 15th will go to Gary Nichols. 16th will go to Andy Vogt. He's here in the booth with us. 17th will go to Ryan Maines. 18th, Brandon Peters. 19th, Scott Hutchinson, who did not start here tonight. 20th will go to Bruce Lee, who also did not start. And then, of course, 21st will go to Jason Berg, who also did not start here tonight. Don't go anywhere, though, folks. We will be right back here momentarily with your top 3 interviews, as we will talk to those top 3 drivers here in just a few minutes.
I spent my whole life chained to the wall, hungry for more, not afraid to fall. Had to cut a man down to get where I am, but someone had to tumble and someone had to stand. Don't try to fight, there's nothing you can do, and I'm gonna run all over you. It's too late to try, there's nothing you can do, I'm gonna run all over you. I'm looking for new blood, and nothing's gonna stop me now. Yeah, I'm looking for new blood, and nothing's gonna stop me now. Nothing's gonna stop me. Looking for new blood.
All right, we are back, ladies and gentlemen, here with your post-race show. And, it's the post-race show is going to be named to the Wicked Chassis Racing Show, as that's all we're going to be talking to here tonight. Coming in third place, that, of course, is the 46 of Sean Breitzman here. You led 24 laps. You started 8th, finished 3rd. To your teammates, of course. So first off, congrats on the 3rd place. And if you had to finish 3rd, could you think of any better way to do it than with your teammates in front of you?
Absolutely not. Pretty outstandingly thrilled with the whole Wicked Chassis Racing team this week. they all did a great job of getting us set up. We all worked pretty diligently last night, setting up the truck for a good long run. So,
we were curious as to if you could make it on fuel. Obviously, you couldn't. But you already have 2 wins on the season, so that wasn't going to be an issue. You're already locked in as long as you don't miss 3 races, of course, and you can stay in the top 16. Obviously, if you keep picking up top 3 finishes and wins, that is not going to be hard for you to do. But overall here, we heard from Jeff as when we first got here, we brought in all our broadcast equipment to the racetrack, and we asked Jeff, are you working on your finishing setup? And he said, no, we're working on the beginning setup. So that is a quote roughly quote he told us. Were you in the same boat, or did you have something built here coming into this race, or was this also working at the last minute to get something together?
It probably a little both. We did have something set up last night that was a pretty decent setup, and overall it was just good on the long run, held its ground, very comfortable setup. But I know Jeff and Mark, they strive for excellence when it comes to setup making, so I know they tinkered with it today, and that's where we're beginning on it really starts.
So it was the beginning of the end, that's what he was saying. It was the last one they were just working on again. That doesn't make sense here. I know they work on it. Y'all work on them throughout the week, all day, every day nearly, it seems like. But that being said here, again, you just can't say much more. It was a great race. Looking here, your entire team, looking at this, other than 1 lap led by Chris White, and that was, I think, because of a mistake on pit road, and he took advantage of it to just go on out and lead a lap. Your team led every lap here in this race, so definitely a big congrats to your team here. All that hard work paid off. So obviously you got some sponsors, and a shout out to NB. So who'd those be here for that? So a 3rd place finish, and really a win for your team.
Yeah, absolutely. I gotta obviously thank the Wicked Chassis crew for working so hard to build a great setup for all 4 of us to run really well. Got to give it up to Walls Beard Co. for the Survive, Thrive, and Drive 187 tonight. Big week for the Northwest Racing Series between the Xfinity and the trucks for supporting breast cancer and really cancer all around. So big thanks to everybody that's supported us, helped us go through things, and big shout out to everybody that's still fighting the battle, and keep fighting so that way you can drive.
All right, definitely a big shout out to all them, and of course it's you here for that 3rd place finish. We are gonna hand it over to our temporary fill-in here tonight. We'll see. Hopefully we don't see him in the booth again, at least not on this time, as he would rather be out on the racetrack. We'll hand it over to Andy, who has our 2nd place driver, the number 24, Jeff Stadnow, who I am not going to interview because I picked him for the win and he didn't win, so I don't want to deal with that. So, Andy, we're going to hand it over to you.
So, Jeff, you led quite a few of the laps in there tonight, and seemed like you were actually putting on a pretty good run there. How was the truck feeling early on? Because you were actually putting in quite a bit of space in between you and 2nd place most of the night.
Well, just to back up there a little bit, our set really wasn't too far off of the, we all build a community set every week, and then guys will build off that or build their own, but our set really wasn't very far off from that. We didn't like it because it got loose on the long run, real loose, and so Mark and I were trying to build a new set tonight, and 10 minutes before the race, we scrapped it and went back to that set, and we got in the race, and it was phenomenal on the short run. For me, it just suited my driving style in the short run. I was kind of able to, put 1.5 seconds, 2 seconds on these guys, the first 15, 20 laps out. But then they'd just start pulling on me. You'd see them eat it down every time. Got saved by a couple of cautions. I think I had a truck that for the most part could hold these guys off for about half of a fuel run, maybe 30 laps. But I think both of them were faster than me, from about 30 laps on. So, same truck, just a little bit different driving styles.
And then, later in the race there, you and Mark, couldn't tell if you got tangled up with Mark or if you got tangled up with the wall. Very similar situation to what happened to me a little bit earlier, and I was kind of curious if the truck just bobbled on you, and you ended up into the wall and bounced off each other, or what happened there.
Well, Mark did just a smart move, and he short pit Sean and I. He let Sean and I kind of start battling up there, and he short pit us by about 3 laps or so, and got out to a lead. And then by the time I pit, I had some fresher tires, and so I had some speed on Mark and was able to run him down. But again, we knew I was faster on the short run. If he could hold me off for about 20 laps or so, he might be faster. So he did a masterful job of not letting me pass. When I caught him, I was quite a bit faster than him, and Mark's just he's Mark Walls, man. Guy does this. He's just that good, and he raced clean and just did a great job passing. We kind of came up on some lap traffic there, and I was trying to set up a little bit different pass there. I saw him go to the inside. I wanted to shoot to the outside, and there was lap traffic there, so I just kind of hesitated for a second. I actually got into his back bumper, which got him a little bit loose, and if I'd have stayed in it, I'd have plowed into him and we'd have both wrecked. So I just kind of drove it into the wall and, only took one of us out. Was able to save it, and it was tore up pretty good. So that was pretty much the end of any shot I had. At that point, it was just trying to hold on to second place.
Well, and it was definitely a beautiful recovery. So any shout outs to sponsors?
Oh, absolutely, man. First of all, Survive, Thrive, and Drive 187. We got such a fantastic crew here in the Northwest Race Series, man. And I just love it when we get to go for a cause. This is one that means so much to a lot of people in here. Off the top of my head, 5 or 6 drivers out there tonight. I could tell you about wives, aunts, moms, all either having recently gone through breast cancer issues or going through them. So, I think this meant a lot to a lot of drivers out there. Hopefully some of their family that watches it. So, for Walls Beard Co. to kind of step up and say, let's do this. Mark Walls there with Walls Beard Co. Just big shout out to him, man. He's just fantastic. www.wallsbeardco.com. Great products, guys. So easy to support. They're cheap products. And these guys keep us going, man. They keep these broadcasts going. Can't thank them enough. Charles VRN, of course. You guys, Charles, he can't find anybody to work this late, and so he does this himself. He has another race before this, so he goes about 4 hours straight here on Wednesday nights. It's amazing he can still talk at the end of this. He puts so much time into his overlays. He's in all of our practices. Every time we practice, he's in there talking to us, checking things out, watching what's going on, staying on top of things so he knows what to talk about. I'm not kidding. It's almost a full-time job for Charles just keeping up with us. Let alone doing these broadcasts. So VRN is just an amazing partner, and then last but not least, the team, Wicked Chassis Racing, man. Just so fun going out there, getting a log laps with Mark and Sean, and they're 2 incredibly fast drivers. We build these setups, so we log a lot of laps doing it, and we push each other, and that's why I do this, man. It's just fantastic teammates. We have a great time, and it's so fun to come out here and race and then just see all the hard work paid off and end up going head to head against each other. Even that's even more fun. So love the teammates and just everybody in the league, man. Just an amazing league.
All right, thank you, Jeff.
Hey, you bet, Andy.
All right. Well, sorry, Mark. After that speech, we're out of time. So, anyway, to Mark, our winner. Jeff knows I like to poke at fun with him for his Grammy speeches. We're definitely glad to be here. We have our race winner, the 29 of Mark Walls. You led the least amount of laps of your teammate here, only 9 laps. But in the end, it didn't matter. You led the one that mattered, and that is the one that crosses the line first, as we're getting pokes here. And that is the last lap. First off, if I can remember my train of thought now, you started second. You only gained 1 position from the start of the race, and that was the first. So how was this truck out there, and how was it handling we heard earlier that the tires were going to be a big factor in here, and we noticed that your fastest time was a 29.907. When you crossed the line, your last lap was a 31.9, so you were 2 seconds slower. How was the handling compared to the speed? Did it help any that they were a little bit slower laps when those tires were wearing off as far as handling wise?
Yeah, because you can throttle a little bit more. I think that was the key all night, was just trying to feather it. I don't know how much I was off the throttle and actually turning right, going through the corners. So it was a handful, but if you did it right, it was nice and smooth and consistent. And the set really hit the driving style. I didn't have anything for the short run, but it really hit how I drove it for the long haul. And second half of the fuel run, this thing was just a rocket.
Well, it definitely looked like it here. The $1 million question is, once you got by Sean Brightsman, you got your lap back, because there at a point he was the only one on the lead lap. Had a caution come out and you would have been on the lead lap at that point, or even if you'd got it back on the wave around and been right there with your teammates, all three of you together, do you think you had the short run car, or was that more of Jeff or Sean that may have had that?
I didn't really have that short run truck. I think I'd have to swing some adjustments into it, maybe some tape to kind of help fight it off if we had a 10-lap battle. But the long run definitely prevailed tonight. I like the long stint at the end. Goes to pit ahead of everybody. I think that's kind of what set it. I knew if I pit ahead of Jeff, John, I'd have him by a couple seconds, and they'd have to work their tires to get back to it. You kind of get anxious when you start seeing that relative click down and you drive a little harder. So I knew that it'd burn off a little bit more rubber, and if I could just stay to the inside or right there with him, have my truck a little wider than normal, we could have fought to the end. It would have been a good battle.
Well, definitely, we obviously don't want to see too many cautions. Would have been cool to see how that would have played out differently had y'all been right there together. But in the end, it didn't work out that way. It worked out in your favor. You get the win here tonight. Looking here, that's got to be like 20 wins this season or something like that, if I'm not mistaken. We'll take a look at the winners. So you've won.
We haven't raced that many.
It's getting close, I think. That'd be your fifth win of the season. So fifth win on the season here. We are actually off the 31st, of course, for Halloween. That is the day we stuff our face full of candy. But the next race, and I quote, this is what it says on the schedule, that we have the I Blame Sean 100 at Sonoma. So, are you looking forward to that being a road course?
Well, not really, because it's not a rolling start, and I normally like to start the road courses driving the pace car. So it's going to be very difficult with a standing start, I think, especially for Jeff. He's notorious for that lead foot, black flagging him right on the start. If the Glen was any intentions on how we ran our road course and how the set was, I got a feeling Sonoma's.
Well, I definitely agree he is that lead foot there, although he did pretty good this past two races that we've had. He didn't get a black flag on the start. He just usually bumped the wall later in the race.
Well, I think we all told him at the start, no, okay, go.
so he did pretty good there. Obviously, we like Jeff said, we come in here for all the practice. We love getting to know the drivers and poking fun at some of them. Or all of them. But that being said here, it is a work night for a lot of people. So we want to go ahead and get to your sponsors and shout-outs before we let you go, as you can pack it up and get ready for work tomorrow.
Definitely. We got to thank Walls Beard Co. for putting on the race for us tonight. And lots of pink trucks out there. It was awesome to see a lot of guys driving for pink. Great cause. Racing as a whole, NASCAR, a lot of different series participate in this, major sports. So it's awesome to bring that in the sim community, represent that the same for all the family members, friends, anyone that has struggled through that or is going through it now. We raced for it, we won, and that's what a lot of people are doing out there. So got to thank VRN. Awesome broadcast. Love going back watching these. Entertaining for from your point of view on some of the things. Some things you don't look at the same and different outlook, and just quality is amazing and on point. You got to thank Wicked Chassis. Man, this was down to the wire. We didn't know what to do to fix anything, and ended up tossing it out the window and going back to what we had the night before, which was real stable, about 20 laps, and then it started getting loose. And at that point, it's just throttle control and management. And long run, I love long runs. I love green flag runs. So it prevailed there at the end. Contact, but nevertheless, man, Wicked Chassis 1, 2, 3. I think that's phenomenal. John had some bad luck with the wall. I got fortunate and just kissed it like Darlington. So I survived. He didn't. I think he would have been right there in the mix too. Big thanks to all the teammates for all the hard work going into this thing.
All right. Well, again, congrats on the win. And we are just about ready to wrap things up here for, well, the morning. It's 12:30 a.m. It is technically a Thursday. So we want to thank all the sponsors, of course, ourselves here at VRN, and, of course, Walls Beard Co. Beard Bomb for coming on board here for the broadcast and for the race. So big shout out to them. Sim Speed Shop, Northwest Racing Series, Ohio IndyCar League, and, of course, iBog. Make sure you check out all of these great partners on their Facebook and websites. Give them a shout out. Let them know you heard about it here on VRN. That will do it here for tonight's broadcast. We will see you tomorrow for the Sim Dirt Modified Touring Series season finale, as they will be off for a little bit. But tomorrow night, season finale, we'll crown a champion, and we will see who it is. So stay tuned for that tomorrow at 7:15 p.m. Central Time.
This copyrighted broadcast may not be used in any form without the authorized written consent of Virtual Racing Network. VRN would like to thank all of our fans for your support, and we hope you enjoyed today's broadcast.